What if I told you that a simple piece of leather, buried for 2,700 years in the Chinese desert, revolutionized warfare, enabled empires, and fundamentally changed the course of human civilization? This weathered saddle, discovered in the tomb of a woman, isn't just the oldest ever found. It's evidence of a technological breakthrough that transformed mounted warfare, shattered gender assumptions, and connected civilizations across continents. They buried the evidence, we dig it up. This is the Artifacts Detective, and today we're investigating how a 2,700-year-old saddle changed the world. Welcome back to the Artifacts Detective. I'm your host, and today we're investigating one of archaeology's most significant recent discoveries. A leather saddle that predates any other known example and challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient horsemanship. In 2003, archaeologists working in the Yanghai cemetery in China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region made an extraordinary discovery. In the arid desert of the Turpan Basin, they uncovered the tomb of a woman who lived approximately 2,700 years ago. But this wasn't just any burial. The woman was positioned in a unique way, seated as if she were still riding, with a leather saddle placed beneath her. This saddle would prove to be not only the oldest ever discovered, but also evidence of a technological revolution that reshaped human civilization. To understand why this discovery matters, we need to examine the archaeological evidence, analyze what it tells us about the people who created it, and investigate how this simple innovation changed the trajectory of human history. Today, we'll look at the archaeological evidence from Yanghai Cemetery, the sophisticated construction techniques that made this saddle revolutionary, why finding it in a woman's tomb challenges historical assumptions, how this technology transformed warfare and enabled the rise of nomadic empires. Let's dive into the investigation. The discovery was made at Yanghai Cemetery, located about 43 kilometers southeast of modern Turfan City. This cemetery, covering 54,000 square meters, has yielded over 500 tombs, dating from approximately 1300 BCE to 200 CE. In Tomb IIM205, archaeologists uncovered something unprecedented. According to the study published in Archaeological Research in Asia by Patrick Wertman and his international team, they found a woman dressed in a hide coat, woolen pants, and short leather boots. But here's what made this burial extraordinary. The leather saddle was positioned on her buttocks as if she was seated on it. This wasn't a ceremonial placement. This was the position of an active rider. Let me describe exactly what the archaeologists found. The saddle consists of two cowhide cushions, each carefully shaped and stitched. The filling? A sophisticated mixture of straw combined with deer and camel hair, materials chosen specifically for their cushioning properties and durability. Radiocarbon dating placed the saddle's creation between 727 and 396 BCE, with a 95.4% probability range. This makes it at least as old as, and possibly older than, the famous Scythian saddles previously thought to be the earliest examples. But the dating is just the beginning. The construction reveals remarkable sophistication. First, the saddle features two wing-shaped hides sewn together along the outer edges. Between them, a central gullet-like channel, exactly like modern saddles, that would sit over the horse's spine to prevent pressure on the vertebrae. Second, the archaeologists discovered something remarkable. The makers used a technique called saddle stitching, a method still employed today where two rows of interlocking threads are created using a single row of holes. This creates incredibly strong seams that can withstand the stress of riding. Third, the saddle shows clear evidence of extensive use and repair. Some repairs were executed in a cruder manner than the original construction, suggesting the rider herself maintained this essential piece of equipment. This wasn't a ceremonial object. This was working gear. To understand who created this revolutionary technology, we need to examine the Subeixi culture, also known as the Subeixi or Gushi people. These were the first permanent residents of the Turpan Basin, arriving around 3,000 years ago. Archaeological evidence from sites like Yanghai, Xinjiang, and the Subeixi cemetery itself reveals a complex society. Initially nomadic pastoralists, they herded sheep, goats, cattle, and horses across the arid landscape. But around 850 BCE, roughly a century before our saddle was made, something changed. The Subeixi people began cultivating crops, soft wheat from the west, broomcorn millet from northern China, and naked barley. They were becoming a bridge between east and west. DNA analysis of Subeixi mummies reveals a genetically diverse population with both European and East Asian ancestry. This mixing of populations brought together different technological traditions and may have sparked the innovation we see in this saddle. Now, why was this saddle so revolutionary? For thousands of years, riders had used simple blankets or pads on their horses' backs. The earliest evidence of horseback riding, from artwork dated around 4,800 years ago in Mesopotamia, shows riders without any structured saddles. The problem with riding bareback or with just a pad is weight distribution. A rider's weight concentrates on specific pressure points, causing discomfort for both horse and rider on long journeys. More critically for warfare, it's extremely difficult to maintain balance while using weapons. The Yanghai saddle solved these problems through several innovations. Structured support. The firm cowhide construction created a stable platform that distributed the rider's weight evenly across the horse's back. Spinal channel. The central gullet kept pressure off the horse's spine, preventing injury and allowing horses to carry riders for longer distances. Raise position. The padding lifted the rider higher, providing better visibility and leverage for using weapons, especially bows. Secure seating. The shaped cushions helped keep the rider in position during rapid maneuvers, crucial for mounted archery. Dr. Patrick Wertmann from the University of Zurich, who led the study, explained, "Saddles helped people to ride longer distances, hence leading to more interaction between different peoples." Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of this discovery isn't the saddle itself, it's who was buried with it. The woman in Tomb IIM205 challenges our assumptions about gender roles in ancient societies. Her grave goods tell us she wasn't elite or nobility. This was an ordinary tomb of a working member of society. Yet she was buried in riding position, with her essential equipment, clear evidence she was an active horse rider. Dr. Birgit Bühler from the University of Vienna stated, "This discovery is strong evidence for women participating in the day-to-day activities of mounted pastoralists, which included herding and traveling." This contrasts sharply with our traditional understanding. The famous Scythian saddles were found in elite warrior burials, male graves filled with weapons and gold. But here, 2,700 years ago in the Turpan Basin, we have evidence of ordinary women riding horses as part of daily life. Now let's examine how this technology changed history. Around 900 BCE, just before our saddle was made, a military revolution was occurring on the Eurasian steppes. Warriors were learning to fight effectively from horseback, abandoning the expensive, cumbersome war chariots that had dominated Bronze Age warfare. The saddle was the key technology that made this possible. With a stable platform, mounted archers could fire arrows while riding at full gallop, turn in the saddle to shoot behind them, the famous Parthian shot, carry heavier weapons and armor, fight for extended periods without exhaustion. This military advantage allowed nomadic peoples to dominate vast territories. Over the following centuries, mounted warriors would topple empires and reshape the ancient world. The Scythians terrorized the ancient Near East. The Parthians defeated Roman legions with mounted archery. The Huns under Attila threatened both Rome and China. The Mongols created the largest land empire in history. But the saddle's impact went beyond warfare. Comfortable long-distance riding enabled extensive trade networks, the foundation of the Silk Road, rapid communication across vast distances, cultural exchange between East and West, the spread of technologies, religions, and ideas. The basic design principles established in the Yanghai saddle persisted for millennia. While materials and decorations changed, the fundamental concepts, weight distribution, spinal clearance, and stable seating, remained constant. Even today's high-tech equestrian equipment follows the same basic blueprint created by Subeixi craftspeople 2,700 years ago. The saddle stitch used on the Yanghai saddle, it's still the preferred method for heavy-duty leather work. Let's recap what we've learned from this remarkable discovery. First, at 2,700 years old, the Yanghai saddle is the oldest directly dated saddle ever found, placing the Subeixi culture at the forefront of equestrian innovation. Second, its sophisticated construction, from the specialized stitching to the ergonomic design, demonstrates that ancient peoples possessed advanced understanding of both materials and biomechanics. Third, finding this working saddle in an ordinary woman's tomb revolutionizes our understanding of gender roles in ancient pastoral societies. This discovery proves that transformative technologies don't always come from centers of power or military elites. Sometimes, the innovations that reshape civilization emerge from practical solutions to everyday problems. In this case, how to ride a horse more comfortably and effectively. When we consider that this single innovation enabled the rise of nomadic empires, facilitated the Silk Road, and fundamentally altered the balance of power between settled and mobile peoples for over 2 millennia, we begin to understand its true significance. The woman buried in Tomb IIM205 probably never imagined that her well-worn saddle would one day be recognized as evidence of one of history's most consequential technological breakthroughs. Yet 2,700 years later, her everyday riding equipment tells us a story of innovation, adaptation, and the democratization of a technology that changed the world. The evidence is clear. This leather saddle from the Turpan Basin represents the beginning of a technological revolution that would reshape warfare, enable empires, and connect civilizations across continents. What's your take on this discovery? Do you think this evidence changes our understanding of ancient technology and gender roles? Let me know in the comments below. For more archaeological investigations like this, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Uncover more ancient mysteries. Follow the Artifacts Detective and join the investigation.